Very good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to the live trading webinar with myself, Giles Coughlin. Yeah, good morning, folks. Looking forward to this next session, and we will be getting ourselves ready for a return after the UK bank holiday. We have Fed Jefferson speaking at the moment. So we've got Jefferson speaking at 2 and then Harker speaking at 2:30. So I'm just going to keep the squawk on for Jefferson. All right, folks, we'll get into it. Any others can join us as they come into the session. Right, so the major news to be aware of is that US President Trump said on Monday that Jerome Powell is Mr. Too Late. He's a major loser, and stocks were sharply down across the globe, particularly US equity futures markets, because the independence of the Federal Reserve is very important for US monetary policy. And what markets suddenly got worried about is that Trump is going to either sack Powell or force Powell to start cutting interest rates prematurely. And that was seen as inflationary. So in the short term, it was, interest rates, bond price yields went down in the short term because sooner interest rate cuts were expected. But the longer end of the yield curve, interest rates went up, expectations as the yield went up because they thought that this will be inflationary. So that's negative for stocks. Good morning, Mark. Good to see you. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. So that's why we had US equity futures down on Monday. They have pared back some of those losses. Europe is sort of quite mixed. Euro stocks is down. DAX has made a little bit of recovery. FTSE 100 and China 50 are up. So sentiment is still negative. It's still quite heavy out there, but we're seeing a little bit of a recovery in the US equity space. Volatility is trending lower at the moment. So very mixed in terms of the mood out there for risk sentiment. If you look at currency, you can see the yen is the strongest currency of the session. The Aussie is the weakest, but the Swiss franc is also weaker, and you've got the rest of the pack together. We had weakness in the US dollar yesterday. Again, it's that sell America theme, that if Donald Trump is going to be having such a combative geopolitical policy, that's seen as negative for the US, negative for stocks, negative for the dollar. And so we saw yen bids coming in, more dollar weakness, lifting the majors, and that's kind of the mood that's currently there. Gold hitting $3,500 an ounce at one stage on those geopolitical risk and the weaker dollar. And silver remaining bid, and the gold silver ratio is now 105. So very interesting silver now, and this is something that I'm very interested in. If you look at the gold silver ratio, you can see here, look, it's well over 105. And the last time gold silver ratio was over 100 was here, and then we had silver picked up from when the gold silver ratio was over 100. So from here, right, we saw 100% price increase. Hey, Nedjem, good to see you. Yeah, gold's been on that real race high, but silver looks like it has a lot of legs to go on it still. Gold silver, that was the last time gold silver ratio was over 100, and look at that huge run up in silver. So we're in a very similar place now. You got this huge move above 100, and it could be possible we're going to extend up to previous highs. And let me see if I've got this here. You can see here in 2010 when silver hit 47.50, right, that huge run. So again, gold silver ratio was about 100 here, and silver did recover nicely. So when you get that 100 reading, it tends to be very strong, for silver. So we keep keeping an eye on that, and I'm looking for a run maybe back up to the 45, 48. That's what I'm keeping on my radar, and I bought in at that deep dip, and I'm looking for a good recovery in silver. Looking at the rest of markets, you can see bond market yields pushing higher yesterday. I'm not surprised to see it pushing higher because Trump's a willingness to get rid of Powell is seen as inflationary, has pared back a little bit now. The analysis that I'm reading is that current pricing is about a 1 in 5 chance it will get rid of Powell. And interestingly, Tim Rayos made an interesting comment He's basically said here, look, Trump put the country on notice that he will make the Fed a scapegoat for any economic fallout from his trade war, and also delegitimize the institution if it doesn't cut rates. So Jim Reyes thinks that Trump is laying the blame now for any downturn in the US economy on the Fed. Hence, that's why he called US President Trump Mr. Too Late, right? A major loser. So that's that kind of that feeling that's out there. But today we have Jefferson, Harker, Kashkari speaking, and we've also got Kugler, and at the end of the day we've got Barkin as well. So Barkin's coming up 7:30, Kugler's at 11. During our session we've just got two Fed speakers, which is we've got Jefferson at 2, and we've had Jefferson, and we've got Harker at 2:30. In terms of the calendar, it's pretty light. There isn't a whole lot going on. You can see here, got a 2-year bond auction, then Kashkari, Barkin, Kugler later.
From Citi's chief economist, they expect growth in the US economy in the second quarter, with consumers buying more ahead of tariffs. Says the negative impact of tariffs is to be felt mainly in the second half of the year.
So what we can expect today is data headline driven on breaking news. Trump is up posting on Truth Social. So again, looking out for headlines. Any news that China and the US are making a trade deal, that would be very positive for stocks. Any news that Japan's come through with a deal, Europe's come through with a deal, again, will be positive for stocks. Anything that shows an unwinding of that geopolitical tariff risk, it will be positive for stocks. I saw a little comment today that US small medium businesses are just running through their inventory, hoping to ride out this tariff problem. So there's a little bit of time now where US companies are just getting through the inventory they've stored up. But if the tariff situation doesn't get resolved, then that's when small businesses are really going to struggle in the US, and it could be very bloody. Trump's not going to let that happen. We saw what happened as soon as he got worried about the bond market. He dialed everything back. So that set a precedent, really. But the question is, the risk is whether too much damage is done already. For now, we grind on. Looking at the S&P 500, looking on the hourly chart, a couple of things to note. First of all, here, positive inventory from the Globex Open. We've been trending higher. Value area high, we've pushed above, pulled back towards, found buyers. Buyers pushed over these sellers here, right? And we've got those sellers trapped at the 5234. So if we just pop that line here on the 15, right, 5234, you can see here, very nice area here. So straight away, right, any pullbacks to that area is reasonable to look for buyers, the 5234. And then we've got sellers potentially can get trapped up there at the 5250, this sort of range here. So there we go, 5236 is probably a little bit better here. So we're just finding some sellers getting trapped there. And again, there's sellers who are trapped down here. So this is a nice buy area now. And what we'll be looking for is any sort of really clear area where maybe see something on the 5 minute or the 1 minute. We see some sellers getting trapped, and we're moving back.
More from that Citigroup chief economist says tariffs are a stagflationary shock to the US.
So nice breaking out. We want to see, do we get any sellers trapped here? Yeah, you could argue that's some sellers trapped there, but let's see. Let's just have a look at this. So that's it. So really from this area here, around that 5236, 5234, 5236. Yeah, so anything around here, 5234. That's it. And then 5236, 5234. That's great. So anything in this area here, very suitable for buying. Okay. On the daily chart, you can see here, this is a good area where sellers have got trapped. And if we can start pushing above that 5300, then that's opening the way back up to the 5461. But for now, inventory, what is it? It's positive. You've got sellers trapped 5236. Again, so any pullback to that area, looking for buyers. Inventory moving higher. It's a buyer's market at the moment as we head into the open. So that's what we're looking for. So keep your eye on any sort of clear opportunities. The only sort of that first opportunity was potentially here with those sellers, you see, getting trapped here, and then price continuing to move higher. Okay, just on this sellers trapped in this area, the 523. Ideally, would like to see a little bit more of a pullback, but that's not an unreasonable area because you've got these sellers here trapped in at 5236. So just keep an eye on this as we head into the open. And so basically we're looking to buy in line with that sentiment. So I'll look here, anything else? Yeah, important areas, the downsides, if we saw these breakout buyers getting trapped, then there's a potential move lower here. So this is an important area that we've got. Folks, I think that is all that's standing out for me right now. It's got 15 minutes to the open, then we'll crack on. Just seeing if there's anything for us to look at. What I'm going to be looking for is just if we've got anything pulling back into this region ahead of the open. That'll be what I'll be looking for here. Okay.
Citi chief economist does say that the dollar is still the world's reserve currency despite uncertainties about US policies.
Okay, sellers coming in quite strongly off that standard deviation. This still remains a support area.
Back to Brazil's Gallup does note that Brazil's economy showing exceptional dynamism is close to full employment.
Okay. Right, so if we get a pullback back down to this point of control, I'm happy to buy. Pullback back to sort of 5243 region, 5242, right? Because you've got buyers now trapping these sellers, right? So if I get a pullback to that area, back towards the point of control, right? Happy to buy into that. Now that would be from get back to 524275. Right, so 524275, that would be the area. Yep. Delta, positive on the session. We're looking to go long because it makes more sense of the price action. We've got those trapped sellers there. So this is a good area for potential buying. Maybe off that second standard deviation, that's holding for now. Right, I think I'm nearly in. Yeah, I'm in now long. So let's just see if we get a nice hold on that. Got those buyers here. Okay, that's it. Okay, that's nice. That's what we wanted. Okay, now it's pushing up. Now let's see. Will it keep holding? Okay. So now you've got those buyers trapping those sellers there. So that's a nice area. Let's see if we can go a bit further with it. All right, so those buyers have now trapped those sellers. I mean, this is value area, so that's a... I'm just going to have a little look at this, just see if we can get a bit further. It's a good area to see taking profit. You see up here, that's what I need to be conscious of.
BCB's Gallup says inflation is still well above target in a widespread move. Underlying measures remain high.
Right, so I'm looking at taking profit when I see a little bit. If I can get a little bit higher, that would be ideal. Right, okay, that's it. I've just taken profit as I went up through those highs there. All right, so just taking profit up there. You can see here, just gone up to those highs, taking profit. So today's trading journal for April 22nd, $730 up on the day, win ratio 71%, took 3 trades, all of them winners, and decent setups, one and all. Now, when we came to the session, what we were looking for, right? Globex Open was positive, looking for that turnaround Tuesday phenomena, that when you have a down day on the Friday and a Monday, it tends to be good on a Tuesday. Tuesday's the strongest day for the E-mini of the week. So looking for longs on a data week session, noting key areas where sellers are trapped. We saw those very beautiful areas to look for trapped sellers, worked all day long. One thing I'm going to be aware of was just careful of over trading after about 3:30. So that's one thing that I was looking at. First trade was at 2:30, just after the open. Saw nice trapped sellers in a buy zone. And with these sellers getting trapped on a nice buy zone, 9.75 points was the first trade of the day. Lovely. Second trade was 15-minute range breakout. And then I entered in on a retracement. So you had a 15-minute range breakout. This is the mini chart, but it's micro chart for the E-mini. But it's the same principle. Strong volume breakout. So that gave me confirmation. I'm going to take this strong trend. Entered on a retracement and then built in 2 more positions as it moved lower. Just took that out because I wasn't so convinced with the breakout, but got nice sort of, I think it was 6 points in the end. Yeah, 6 points on that. And then the third trade was this nice pullback here where you got these sellers trapped. So I was looking at a buy zone in this area. So we had a pullback and then got some trapped sellers on the 1-minute chart. And that was the point of control. That was trapped buyers trapping sellers against the point of control. Just removing that point of control, brought 2 positions in. And then my best trade of the day was just holding this for sort of, 14 points in total it was, all the way up to the second standard deviation in line with the market dynamics. You can see that in the context that was, very well managed. Hit the second standard deviation, got as much out as I could of the trade, and then exited before the turnaround. So nice green day, solid, nice kind of day today. We just had solid buying all session. And the nice thing is that we were just looking good opportunities. Lots of people took good opportunities. Anthony got a nice trade at the end of the day against that 88. Again, you just had these 15-minute sellers, right? Trapped here, price pulled back, standard deviation. Anthony took a nice little long off that. He entered off the 88, but you can see here, if you just waited for the buyers to trap the sellers here, and then there, could have maybe got that risk down to a little bit less. Horrible when the trade's going against you, particularly as this one did at the start. And then perfect exit from Anthony, literally point perfect, in at the 88 and getting out at the 94.25. So beautiful trading. Yeah, thank you, Anthony. It's been a good day today. Great work. Hope Kathleen did all right. Konstantinos, hope you've done okay as well. Well done, Anthony. And then Nadjam's had a good day. Mark had a good day. So take care and hope to see you tomorrow, folks. Look after yourselves. Bye for now.